Hi, friends. Welcome back to Unmasked. My name is Rachel Peck. You are tuning in for part 2 of Kirra Michel's episode. If you haven't listened to part 1, it was the latest episode, and you can find it on whatever platform you're on. Highly recommend checking it out. So much wisdom there and a lot of Kirra's backstory before you jump into part 2. Otherwise, stick around with me and just take a few deep breaths. Notice the present moment and give yourself a second to slow down. Notice your breath. And then we'll start exactly where we left off in part 1. Enjoy. Okay, I want to shift gears a bit and just ask you some things centered around one of your main jobs that you've had in New York, which has been Peloton. And I mean, at one point when we were together before hitting record, you mentioned that, if someone would have asked you if you would have been teaching yoga on this platform, would you have guessed that? And you were like, absolutely not. Do you know me?
Wrong person.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'd love to hear more about that and also what it's been like to navigate this shift in just having a larger platform and being more well known and having the type of fame that someone might recognize you in a coffee shop, or a fan like me really wants a selfie with you after your yoga class, and what that experience has been like entering this world with Peloton and where you are now.
I would describe myself as more introvert. I did not like having too much attention on me. And even when I did my yoga certification, I had no intention of being a teacher. I just wanted to learn. I wanted to learn the poses, I wanted to learn the hows and whys, and I wanted to learn the mythology and everything behind it. And I kind of fell into teaching, thank goodness. But yeah, if someone said to me, you'd be teaching yoga, first of all, hated it, didn't want anything to do with it. And meditation, definitely not. My brain runs 1,000,000 miles an hour. Again, very vata. It's just ping-ponging from one to the next to the next to the next. I'm like, I can't sit still. So that would just be a no. That's just a no, full stop. And then to have eyes on me, that's also a no. And so it was a double whammy, triple whammy. Like, that's just not going to happen. And I think that's the thing. I think people want the end result without taking the steps to get there. As a handstand coach, I know that to be the case. Everyone's flinging themselves up in the middle of the room and I'm like, I've given you step-by-step protocol. But you want to be on, yep, okay. There's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And same with all this. I didn't go from not wanting to be in front of people to teaching at Bryant Park with 1,000 people. It was a slow learning and understanding of myself and feeling the discomfort. And also, I'm determined. I will check in with myself and I'll do it if it scares me, if it's out of my comfort zone. Like, I still get nervous. I get nervous all the bloody time. I'm like, I just want to go back to bed. Can I just put the sheets over me? I just want to hide there. I know I never want to come out again. And sometimes I'm doing that while I'm teaching. I'm like, I just want to go home. I just want to leave. And other times I'm in flow state and it's perfection, So I notice my edges and I like to flirt with them. It's like, okay, this is going to be scary. You're going to do it anyway. And, I started with small classes. Sometimes no one would show up. Sometimes one person would show up and it was a little bit of a hit to the ego. But I also love that because then I could be like, oh, this is like a private. I get to really be a yoga nerd and break down the asana and the posture and let's nerd out together. And in time, it went from one class to I was a full-time yoga teacher. Again, it took time to build that. And I was teaching trainings and doing privates and running all over the city. So I was getting more and more confident with that. At the start of the class, still to this day, I still walk into a studio or the studio because I only teach in one studio. And there's a wall up. I'm a little bit like, ugh. And I have to really push through that almost every single time. I see a lot of my coworkers and they are extroverts through and through. Not all of them, but most of them. And I have to put on this, you can do this. You can do this. I always ask for some guidance. I always ask, please speak to me and speak through me to source. Please allow me to deliver what needs to be delivered. And then I teach. And while I teach, that's my domain. I love what I do. I love what I teach. I love reminding people that they are worthy and to slow down and to feel. And it's my joy. It's my passion. I love sharing yoga philosophy and psychology with people. And then by the end, I'm completely ripped open in all the best ways. And my heart just is pouring out to you. And I want to meet you. I love it when people, like, sometimes people will message me and they'll be like, I saw you on the train, but I didn't want to bug you or I didn't want to bother you. And I'm like, bother me.
Aww.
Like, I don't know my students. I teach to a room of 0 humans. So I teach to a room of 0 humans 9 times out of 10.
Okay.
And then during the weekends, I'll teach to 7 students. So it's a very small, intimate setting. But I love to get to know my students. You know, I think you've been able to hear in this podcast, I'm a very emotional and sensitive person. Like, you can hear it in my throat. I can't really fake it. And I always thought that that was such a bad thing. Like, I thought it was one of my weaknesses. And it turns out that usually your weakness, if you know how to alchemize it, it becomes your superpower. So it's either like I'm nervous or anxious or a little bit guarded, or I'm just like, I'm a bleeding heart. I'm just like, hi, let's be friends. Let's hug. But yeah, I love meeting the students. I love meeting the people who've been touched by yoga the same way that I've been touched by yoga. And it just brings me so much joy. Like when you told me that you've done your teacher training, I love it. Yoga is so deep and so vast and so beautiful. And we get to dip our toes into it with the Peloton app. And then if you want to dive in and go read more books or do a teacher training, I love hearing that. I love it so much. And people are like, oh my God, you've changed my life. And I'm like, well, thank you. But and I'm learning to accept that too, that I am making a difference. But at the same time, it's a co-collaboration, right? It's more than just us. It's this philosophy that's been passed down for thousands of years. And then it is my way of translating this so it makes sense to you, because I'm not for everyone and every teacher is not for me. I love that you found me and you're hooked from the get-go, because I had to go through teachers to find someone that I liked. Wow. I always say that if you don't like yoga, you haven't found your right teacher yet.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love meeting you guys. I love hearing you. That's what I was saying, the co-collaboration. It's also you showing up. It's you pressing play every single day. It's you rolling the mat out. It's you sitting on the cushion. I get it. My teachers are the ones who help me come back to the mat time and time again. My teachers are the ones who share things that just light me up. But it's also my tapas, which is discipline, right? To come back, something that excites me. It's joyful. I'm like, okay, I'm here again. But you're showing up for yourself in a time of whatever, anxiety, depression, confusion, not knowing yourself, learning yourself. And you're choosing to be with yourself, to breathe, to slow down, to tune out of the world that's so loud and to tune into the inner world that's so quiet. And I always just feel like it's like a radio station. We just have to tune and dial in. And every single time we sit, we're dialing in a little bit more. And then we start to like turn up the volume within ourselves, that it stems from a place of love. And fear is really loud. Fear is the mind half the time.
Oh, yeah. It is. And I love what you say at the end of classes. Thank yourself for showing up today.
Yeah.
Like, no matter if it took a lot, if it was easy today, whatever it is, that's okay. Give yourself a pat on the back. I think that's really important. I'm so curious what it's like standing on the Bryant Park stage in front of thousands of people in New York. And for people to understand this, it is in the middle of New York City, all the high-rise buildings, this massive park, and Kirra's up on this huge stage that you would go watch a concert at by yourself. Well, sometimes there's one other person with you. Yeah. But what does that feel like?
It's really cool. I've also done it with Times Square as well, and that was even more intense because that's like the lights, it's sirens, it's so loud. I remember the first time I did it, I've done 3 Bryant Park and 1 Times Square now. And the first time I did it, I was like, it's time to go home. I want to put the blanket over my head. Like, I just wanted to disappear. Yeah. And that's one of those times where I'm like, oh, okay, nervous. Oh, heart is beating, very sweaty. And it's like, you've done this before. I just literally give myself a pep talk over and over and over again. And at the start, I'd bring people to support me who are my cheerleaders. You know, again, I love what I do. I really feel like if I'm not in an anxious state, which I am sometimes, and that's why I practice so much yoga, meditation. But if I'm not in an anxious state, I'm typically in flow state when I teach. And I know that I'm going to be really nervous. I know my voice is going to shake. I know I'm going to sound like I'm really nervous at the start because I literally am. And I know that within like 5 minutes, I'm going to be okay. And what I usually do is I always start my classes, as you know, unless it's a like 10 or 20-minute class. But I always start with sitting down, breathing, closing the eyes. And that's what I'll do. I'll just close my eyes. And this is the fun thing about teaching yoga. It's like when you need to breathe, just put people in down dog and give them 5 breaths. I'm just like, you guys, we all need to breathe more and deeper. But this is really for me and it's going to benefit you too, right? Like,
Yes.
So if I just close my eyes and I tap in, again, I'm in flow state. Doesn't really matter how much I prep. Like I write down for what I'm going to talk about. Half the time if I prep stuff, it's not what I talk about anyway. I say half the time. 9.5 times out of 10, it's not what I end up talking about. And I just let what is here with me come through. And I know that humans we just look at ourselves as being so different. But you know this from psychology, like we're very, very similar, you know? We all deal with the same emotions. We're just to different degrees and we handle things differently. But sadness and joy and excitement and nervousness, everyone deals with them. And so if I don't go too minute and specific about things, I know that people are going to relate in some way, shape or form. And some people won't, and that's okay too. But the vast majority of people will relate to it. So once I close my eyes and tap in, everything else just falls away. And then I just end up having fun.
How do you deal with different types of feedback that you get from audiences, from people? Yeah, I mean, I bet. And I think that's the hard part also of like having a platform and having that much bigger of an audience is you're getting that many more people who are throwing in their opinions about you and voices and about your class. And I imagine as much encouragement and positivity that you get from your audience, there's also some haters out there. So how has that been?
It's not fun and I'm so sensitive. But I will say that like it's probably more than this, for every like, I don't know, 5,000 loves, 10,000 loves, there's one hate. You know,
wow.
I get very little hate. I mean, I teach yoga
I'm
and
so happy to
meditation,
hear that.
But I do get it, you know, and it really, really affects me when it does. And again, it's all the mind, right? So I really have to sit with myself and just be like, okay, does any of this hold true? Because I don't want to just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Does any of this hold true? I talk a lot in class. So sometimes the comments are like, some comments are so mean. But like whatever. And a friendlier negative comment is you just talk way too much. I love your flow, but can you just shut up? Oh, terrible. That's a nicer mean one.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, does any of this hold true? I do talk a lot. Yeah. Could I play around with more silence? Absolutely. Absolutely. I could definitely play around with that. Okay, I'll hold that. But the rest of it, I'm not, like if it doesn't sit well with me, you know, and then does it mean that I am quiet now from here on out? No. So I'll sit with that for a moment. If there's anything that holds true, maybe I can play around with that a little bit. Another thing I think about is that there's plenty of yoga classes or anything that I've gone to that I don't like. And you know what I'm not doing? I'm not going on to social media or Reddit or whatever to tell people that they're really bad at what they do or that I don't like them. Like I said, not everyone is for everyone. And usually the things that people don't like me for is the same thing that other people love me for, you know? People love me because of what I talk about in class. Sure, maybe I'm just not your teacher, right? There's shorter classes where I don't talk as much and you can take those classes, but I'm not going to change for you because I'm doing this because this is what I love. This is how it comes through me. And it's been received really well by a lot of people. And I do kind of think about, like I said, I've been angry for very long periods of my life and it still jumps in and out. And that's why I always return back to my practice. And there are times where I just want to let everyone know that this person's bad. And then I check myself, you know, in Buddhism or even yoga, truthfulness or right speech. Is it necessary? Is it true? Oh gosh, I used to know this really well. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it subjectively true or is it objectively true? If it's subjectively true, I don't need to let you know that I don't like your classes, right? That's my perspective. Is it necessary? Does it help you if I tell you that you suck? Not really. That I think you suck subjectively, you know? Not really. And is it kind? No, it's not. So I'm just going to check myself and I'm going to pull myself back. And then the final thing about this, because I do get in my head, well, maybe it's not the final thing. I do get in my head a lot. So I have to check my brain and be like, hey, we're not going to keep going down this route. We've chewed it, we've analyzed it, we've looked at it. Now we have to be done with it. And it tells me more about the person who's sending the me message than it does about me. I'm like, that person probably just needs some love. So I'm just going to sit here and send some love and kindness to you. Because if you're in a really good state, like when I'm in a good state of mind, I do something I don't like, I'm like, whatever. That was an hour of my life that I'm not going to get back, but it is what it is. You know, I'm not actively going after you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, you need some love, my friend. Hurt people hurt people.
Gosh, I can only imagine just the fielding of all the comments. And I love the breakdown of that. So I hope that people take note when they consider sending out love or hate in the world. And I actually wrote down, I saw that there was a yoga journal that an article was written about you by, now it sounds like, what was a friend?
Michelle.
Yeah.
She's great. She's a student who became a friend through that.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Yeah. And I still haven't, I skimmed the first part of it, but I would love to finish and read that, and hopefully other people will too. One quote in there was, taking care of yourself is productive. Yeah. Or at least it was on your Instagram post that was connected to that article.
Yeah.
It was a lot about success and that you were exhausted by overachieving, and then you tried yoga.
Yeah.
And so I ask you where you're at with productivity and what success really looks like to you right now.
Gosh, I think growing up, especially being a gymnast, you start with 10 points, and everything you do wrong, you have a point taken away. So if you make a mistake, that's bad. And then I kind of felt like if I'm productive, that's how I'm going to be loved. Big sigh.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big sigh for so many people, you know. Mm-hmm. And again, it might be, I don't think it's taught to us intentionally, but it is taught to us. So giving grace to the people and the situations and the society that teaches that to us as well. But being quote unquote successful by burning myself out and then getting the accolades and never even stopping to like enjoy the process or the accolades along the way, it was really rough. It was really tiresome. I felt really disconnected. It's like, why am I even doing these things? Are they actually for me? Or am I doing these because this is what one of my parents or society or everyone else is telling me to do? Like, who am I? As a 20-year-old, as a 30-year-old, whoa. I studied architecture. My dad's a builder. Even yoga. My dad's a yoga instructor. Do I even like this? Like, what am I doing? And I had to really stop. And because we just get so in that habitual hamster wheel, and the momentum just goes and goes and goes. And you're supposed to make money. You're supposed to be successful. This is what brings you joy. And then, you know what? I actually achieved a lot of those things because I sacrificed my joy. I sacrificed my health. I sacrificed so much because I thought that this is what would bring me all the joy in the world. And then slowing down and just being like, yeah, who am I? What brings me joy? Which this has been something that I've been trying to search for years now. And sometimes it's just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Tried that. Nope, that was not the thing. Oh, tried that. Okay, that actually brings me joy. And it's funny, like, do I love yoga? Absolutely. My favorite time of the week is sitting with my mentor and my teacher. And I'm just like, wait, it's only an hour. Can we keep going? I just want to do this full time. Should I move to India and just be by your side all the time? Like, that's all I want to do. I'm like, once you find it, there's joy there. You don't have to question it. But I've been looking for this for a long time and it hasn't always stuck. There's different things that I'm like, kind of feel like a failure at joy because I can't figure out the things that bring me all the joy. And then that's also where it comes back to, can I just sit and watch this sunset? Because that brings me so much joy. Holy crap, these colors are phenomenal. This is wild. I'm so silly. Not silly, but like I'll just be in nature and I'll be like, wow, this tree is like 200 years old. It started as a little seed. This is crazy. And it's housing all, like I'll just go into, and I always say like, if you are struggling with life, just go be in nature. You will learn everything about yourself in nature. And nature it's very productive, but it's not very time efficient. It takes 200 years for that tree to grow, you know? And we're trying to get to level 10 or step 10 by jumping all the steps and just being where we think we need to be instead of the process. And in the Bhagavad Gita, they talk about we're not doing it for the fruits of the labor. We're doing it for the labor itself, for the love of the labor. The fruits aren't guaranteed. Can we find what brings us joy And it's easier said than done, right? I'm in a place where I can say that because I have a job that I love. And for some people, you're not going to love your job. But can we find love around the job? Can we find love within the job? You might not like your employer. You might not like what you do for a living. You might just be making ends meet. And I grew up in a family like that from time to time. You know, after the divorce, it was like, oh, we've got nothing. And we have to figure out how to piece it all together. But there's joy in being with family. There's joy in other places. Yeah.
It's making me all think of this word evolving and hearing about the evolution of your life and coming from that childhood that you speak about. Sounds like there was some really, really tough times and that carries through. And I wonder where Kirra's going. Like, what idea? You don't know. And that is the best answer ever. And I mean, I would love to even just hear more about what you hope for yourself, but also I imagine you talk a lot about yoga and Peloton and just would also love to hear what else Kirra likes. Like, who is Kirra in other realms? What do you like to do in New York City if there was a few things?
Yeah. Well, where am I going? I love this because I don't fully know right now. And we spoke about this before, but I really like control. It's a coping mechanism. I need to know. I need to feel safe. I need to know where I'm going. I need to know all the things. And control is such, I feel like it's pulling the handbrake on life, right? I don't know. So right now I'm really trying to release control. I'm really trying to step into Ishvari Pranidhana, which is surrender and faith. Faith that I've done enough to be supported and I know enough. And even if I fall flat on my feet, it's still going to be okay. There's still lessons in there for me to grow and learn and evolve into. So I've always kind of had a clear direction. And now, rather than thinking I know and having the control, I know where I'm going, I know exactly what to do to get there, I'm really playing around with the concept of releasing control and aligning what feels right for my heart. And I say what feels right. It's kind of similar to when I say find a seat that feels comfortable. All the seats are not always going to feel comfortable. All the postures are not going to be comfortable. Sometimes, like when we're in chair pose and it's a revolved chair, I don't want to be in that pose, but I know ever. But I know that there's growth here. I know there's mental growth. I know there's physical growth. Brushing up against your edges, I think, is really, really important to see what you're capable of. So a comfortable enough place. I'm just trusting. I'm following my heart, following my intuition, trying to follow my intuition, really working at tuning that radio station into my intuition and turning her up and trusting her, you know, a lot, which is really hard to do sometimes. And again, it's a practice, right? We do it once. Again, hand balance. So the first time I did a handstand, I couldn't handstand. After about a couple of years, I could handstand, but it was a lot. You have to be dedicated to yourself. I love this concept of discipline, dedication, disciple. Can you be a disciple to yourself? We're a disciple to our phones and to our emails, and we're disciplining ourselves to be really good at those things. And can we actually be disciplined and a disciple to our heart, to our intuition? It's like learning how to handstand. I'm like, this is hard. I want to give up. Is she there? Hello? Can you talk to me? Hello? You know, but she's quiet. She's subtle and she's there. Or he or they're there. And faith wasn't something that I've always had. So it's kind of like it's a fun place to start to explore. I really do feel protected. I really do feel guided. And, you know, sometimes we ask for things and we get the opposite to give us the thing that we've asked for.
Yeah. Wow.
And we have to sit with it. And it doesn't always show up the way you want it to show up, but it will be the biggest and best teacher for you. So that's where I'm at right now, diving into getting to know myself through really old scriptures, through practices, through different teachers. That's what's lighting me up right now. Yeah.
I wanted to jump in when you were starting to speak about control and your love for control. Because have you seen The Odyssey yet?
No, everyone keeps telling me to watch it. Okay.
You need to
Second person in 2 days.
It's probably the best movie I've seen.
Oh my God.
I will say that confidently.
Cool. Okay,
I mean, I also love Anne Hathaway, so that's part of it. But there was one line that really stuck out to me when I was watching it. And it was just the simplicity of, can you just release control, let go, and live?
Yeah.
And that just hit me like a ton of bricks while I was sitting watching this movie. If you watch, you'll probably identify the scene that I'm talking about. And it was just such a great motto for me to hear in that moment, because I so hear you in the control category. It's so easy to get wrapped up in grasping and thinking that we can have all these plans and just try and control so many avenues of life and interactions and parts of ourselves that don't need to be controlled. We can let go and live. And I think that's something that's really important to continue to remind myself of.
And again, it's a practice. It sounds so easy. I'm just going to let go. I'm just not going to control.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, we've been gripping for dear life to the point that like our hands, I don't know if you've heard me talk about this in class before, but think about a diamond ring, right? Or something that you don't want to lose. So it's in your palm and you're just gripping on so tight. So tight that the nails start to dig into your skin and your skin starts to bleed and your biceps are exhausted and everything is just like so tension. But I got it. But I got it. I'm not going to let it go. Because non-attachment in Buddhism or yoga, people are like, okay, I got kids. How can I not be attached? I love people. How can I not be attached? And non-attachment to me is like going from this really contractive, tight state of really like smallness just to opening your palm and the diamond ring is still there, right? I've just softened everything and it's still there. You know, when we grip on so tight, I think we actually push things away. Whereas I think about being a kid or a teenager, an overbearing parent, and you're just like, well, I'm out. Bye. I left when I was 16. I was like, I'm out. But if you have that level of trust and support there, I don't have kids, so I'm speaking from me being a child, not being a parent. But like, let the kid kind of wander off and then come back and wander off and come back, right? If you hold so tight, you push everything away. But if you open up with this non-attachment, but there's safety here, it's going to keep coming back, you know? It takes time to get there. And you asked a question before, which I didn't actually get to the answer of. And it was like, how do you start to meditate, right? I think it's really similar. It's a parallel with both of these. We just want to let go. And then we get annoyed at ourselves. So we just want to meditate. We get annoyed at ourselves when we can't do it. And then we go into self-berating, or or maybe not self-berating. We're just like, just isn't for me. I can't do it. So I'm just going to keep doing the thing that I've done forever. And it's just, you start small. Can I just release around this? Can I just sit for 2 minutes? Can I focus on my breath? You can do a Peloton class where it's just a 5-minute breathing class. Can you set the timer for 5 minutes and just sit there? And so again, I just really feel like we keep trying, I've said it already, we keep trying to jump to the outcome. And the outcome isn't the purpose. The purpose is the path. You know, it's the terrain. And the terrain is not going to be gentle. And that's the other thing. I think we've been taught that it needs to be gentle and it will be gentle. And when it's not gentle, when there's rocks and it's uphill climb, we're like, life isn't supposed to be like this. No one told us it would be like this. It's supposed to be easy. Instagram tells us it's easy. No one prepped us for this. And there's no obstacles. It's just terrain. This is what we're walking through. You're going to need your hiking boots on for this part. You're going to need your umbrella for this part. This part's going to be scary. And through the terrain, that's where we really learn about what we're capable of doing. And that's where confidence comes from.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we could sit here.
I know.
and talk for hours.
Yeah.
And what you just said, what a way to come to an end, because that was so beautifully put. And
Thank you.
This whole episode has been beautifully put. I appreciate just your wisdom and your words. And
I appreciate your questions and this whole conversation. It's been really, really nice to chat. And again, your questions are wonderful.
Oh, wow. I appreciate you saying that. And I always love to leave time at the end to share about how people can connect with you if that's a desire. Some people like to share about their businesses, their platforms, their Instagram, LinkedIn, anything.
All the things.
The floor is yours to allow for people to connect and find you.
Okay, so I teach yoga, meditation, mobility, stretching. I think that's all.
I did a stretching class of yours this morning.
There you go. There you go. I love it. I teach all of that on the Peloton app. And anyone who wants, I wonder if I can figure out how to give your audience a 2-month free subscription. We'll figure that out. If we figure it out, you'll get it.
Okay.
Yes. And so they can find me and 56 other instructors, different languages, different modalities, all there. And you can start meditating with me or my colleagues. You can start yoga. You can start stretching. If yoga's scary for you, do a stretch. And then I'll convince you to come over to yoga. And again, maybe I'm not your teacher. And there's other phenomenal teachers on there. So there's that. I also am on Instagram. It's Kirra Michel. And so check the spelling because it's not spelled how you think it is. And then my website is just my name. There's more info there about what I do and where I'm going and what I offer. And yeah, I think that's it.
Wonderful.
Substack. I do a Substack as well. Very irregularly, but I'm enjoying the art of long format writing. You won't hear from me often, but you will hear from me.
Looking forward to that. And I'll include all that in the comments. So thank you again, Kirra, for being here and showing up. Oh, man, what a joy. Kirra's 3 words: curious, resilient, and evolving. Excited to see wherever you go and continuing to evolve.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Hey everyone, before you go, please click the subscribe button. And if you have any desire to further support the mission of Unmasked, there is a link in the comment section of all of my episodes that says support the show. Feel free to click on that. There is an option to donate anywhere from $1 and beyond monthly or one time. So do that if it feels aligned. Otherwise, would love for you to keep listening and return to Unmasked as always. Thanks.